Hey guys, happy last day in February. So I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet. We're in the middle right now of our self-love month of awareness, right? We kind of started mid-February, so we're working ourselves through mid-March. We're gonna keep that same focus happening right now. But after talking with a few of you, I feel like our expectations versus reality aren't really matching up. And I kind of think I know why. So this month now, we're going to continue with the self-love thing because we're still in the middle of that. We're still reading Perfection Detox, which I don't know about you, but I fell a little bit behind. I'm loving the book still, so I'm going to keep plugging away at it, but I'm not necessarily at that 7 pages a day. So we're going to keep plugging away at the self-love thing, but our main focus now, starting tomorrow for the month of March, is going to be nutrition. And here's why. I was listening to a podcast a while ago, and this was just so fascinating to me. They were interviewing a guy whose background is in like science and nutrition. He's a personal trainer. He owns a bunch of gyms. He's like a bigwig now. But when he developed this idea, he wasn't yet, but he used his background in science to talk about this. So he says, as a fitness expert, I'm going to call you guys all fitness experts, you need to draw for yourselves a triangle, and he calls it the triangle of awareness. But he says, draw for yourselves a triangle. At one point of your triangle, you're going to put performance. At one point of your triangle, you're going to put aesthetics. And at one point of your triangle, you're going to put longevity. So let me break those down just a tiny bit. At performance, you're going to put things like higher rep range. You can lift heavier. You have more stamina. You can run farther. Your Megan cardio days, you're noticing, wow, like my heart rate got up into the 160s, but in my rest time, I was able to get it down to the 120s. You're noticing things like, oh, last week I lifted 20 pounds, but this week I was able to lift 30 pounds. I only did 10 reps last week, and this week I was able to do 12. You notice things like, okay, for me right now, I'm challenging myself to a pull-up thing because I was thinking the other day, oh my gosh, I tell you guys all the time, like if you're frustrated that you can't do a push-up, work your way towards that. I've been frustrated for forever that I can't do a pull-up. I think that that's dumb. I should be able to do a pull-up. I can lift really heavy things. Like I should be able to do a pull-up. I couldn't. So I looked up how to get better at doing a pull-up. And now I went from 0 pull-ups to 4 unassisted pull-ups. I mean, for me, that's a big deal. I can do more than that assisted, which it's just kind of awesome to me. So that goes in the performance pyramid, that performance corner of my triangle. The next corner, top of my point, is longevity. That's going to be things like good sleep. That's going to be things like I feel good. That's going to be things like I can do a hard workout and I'm not getting exhausted. That's things like, oh, my gut health is really good right now. That's things like my body is sore, but it's functioning well. Like it's doing what I'm asking it to do. It's things like I wasn't able to do that hike last summer, but now this summer, like I got to the top of the mountain, I enjoyed the view, and wow, it's really cool up here. And I'm really thankful that I pushed my body to a place where it can enjoy things like this. It's longevity would be things like running around with your kids and not getting exhausted. Like getting up in the morning and not thinking, man, I just want to sit on the couch today. I don't want to engage in life because I'm tired. Longevity is things like, no, I can actually engage with life. I can engage with my friends and my loved ones, and I can do the things that everybody else is doing because I feel good. The last point of the triangle is aesthetics. Aesthetics are, wow, maybe I'm crushing my 6-pack, which, right, like who can do that? Quick little side note, Amoyla Caesar, I was listening to an interview with him. He says all the time, abs are finicky. And he said, when you're in a cut, do not get on the scale, which this makes so much sense to me after he explained it. So when we go in a cut, that's not maintainable. So, for example, let's say you've got a wedding coming up and you're a bridesmaid and aesthetics matter to you, okay? You know that there's going to be a bunch of pictures. You're willing to put in the really hard work for a month, let's say, before the event, so that when you get to the event, you feel comfortable in your skin. You maybe don't feel good, but you feel comfortable and confident in your own skin. He says when that happens, so for him, that's right before filming a workout. He goes into a cut because he wants to make sure that he's in his best shape possible before, launching a new program or whatever. He says when he's in those places, he refuses to get on the scale because that is an unrealistic number. So when we do our cuts, or when we go back to, I weighed X amount in high school, or I weighed X amount before I had kids, or I weighed X amount when I had the flu. You guys, those are called unrealistic numbers. And if when we step on the scale, that's the number that's in the back of our minds, that is an unrealistic number. When Tyler and I got married, I was not eating as much as I should. I had just come out of college and living on my own for the first time and having no money and having my first teaching job and being crazy busy and not understanding nutrition at all, and I weighed 104 pounds. After Tyler and I got married, we had maybe been married 3 months, and I was actually eating for the first time in a long time and consistently making dinner and making good choices. My hair looked better. I felt better, I had more energy, and I gained 10 pounds almost immediately. That's because that 104, that first number, was an unrealistic number. So now when I step on the scale and I'm like, oh, this is 130 pounds, that's ridiculous. I should be 104. I can't be 104. 104 is an unrealistic number. You get what I'm saying? Okay? Maybe it's not popular to talk about your actual weight on the scale, but I'm just going to tell you because that's stupid. 104 is an unrealistic number. It's a number that's in the back of my head. So if I can't divorce myself from that number, I have to throw away the scale. Because the reality is, if I'm not going to be happy with the number that I see today because I've got that unrealistic number in the back of my head, then I shouldn't step on the scale. Okay, does that make sense? So now we're in that aesthetics corner. I tell you all of that to tell you, let's set ourselves up well for the aesthetics corner of the triangle, but that's where aesthetics is, right? It's feeling comfortable in your own skin. It's being proud of what you look like. It's working, maybe you have a goal. Maybe you want your arms to look better in tank tops. Maybe you really want a flatter belly. Maybe you are longing for smaller hips. Now I know we can't spot reduce in places, but we can make cuts so that our body can change, right? So in that aesthetics corner, that's going to be simply how you look. Now what Jason Phillips says is, this is revolutionary to me and makes so much sense. You can't have all three. So if you want to perform well, you can't be striving for a perfect body. If you want to feel good, you can't be striving for a perfect body. Now, that's not to say that when I'm in performance mode, I can't lose weight, or when I just want to feel good in my own skin, I want to feel good in my body, I want my gut to feel good, that I can't also be losing weight. But what it's saying is that those pictures that you see of influencers on Instagram, or honestly of some of the trainers on Beachbody, the reality is those aren't attainable long term. So something else that I really appreciate that I heard on a podcast is when you see an influencer on Instagram and you see their photos and you're like, oh my gosh, they look like that all the time. They don't look like that all the time. They have taken pictures at one point in the year, their cut week, or their cut month or whatever, and they've taken hundreds of photos in that cut month, and then they post those all year long. So another side tangent, sorry, it's getting a little longer than I anticipated. Another side tangent is that, I don't know if you've been watching, Emily and I were talking about this the other day, but you can tell I mean, I feel like I can tell when Megan's on her period during Sure Thing. And it's because she filmed it, like not 5 of them in one day. And you can see like she gets her little baby bloat, which I appreciate so much. Like in Sure Thing, Megan looks much more normal to me than maybe some of the trainers in other programs. I just really appreciate that about her. That's a little side note. But all that to say, I need you to draw that triangle out for yourself. So take a minute at the end of this video and draw out that triangle. In one corner, you put performance. In the top, you put longevity. In the corner over here, you put aesthetics. Draw out your triangle and ask yourself where you want to be. You only get to pick one point. And when you pick that point, be proud of yourself for picking that point. So, right now, for me, for the month of March, I want to focus on nutrition for a few different reasons, but I want to focus on nutrition. So, for me, that's going to put me more in the aesthetics column for right now, not full time. So, if I'm putting myself in the aesthetics column, that means that I'm not working on gaining muscle right now. So, for right now, I'm slipping over to that aesthetics column, and I'm going to focus really heavily this month for me on nutrition. So what that's going to look like is I'm going to go to tracking the containers. I am going to maybe swap out my treats for just Shakeology. I'm going to cut down on the carbs a little bit. I'm going to focus this month on nutrition. So if you would like to join me, there's zero pressure. But if you want to join me, you're more than welcome to. I'm gonna drink my shake every day. I'm gonna make sure I'm starting every day with my greens powder, that kind of a thing, okay? I'm gonna focus more heavily this month on nutrition, but I'm only gonna do it like where I'm really strict about it for a month. And what I'm using this as is a reset, and I'm using it as a jump starting place for this is where I should be. And then I'm gonna build off of that later, okay? So my suggestion to you, draw your triangle. And then if you wanna jump in on nutrition with me for this month, my next suggestion is go to the nutrition tab on your body app. And if you scroll down, you'll see 2B Mindset, and you'll see 4-Week Gut Protocol, and you'll see, you have to actually buy the extra for 4-Week Gut Protocol, but you'll see 2B Mindset and you'll see Portion Fix. There are videos for each of them. They're not very long. I would watch them and see where you want to be. So I know that some of you have picked a nutrition plan and you're excited about it and you've started doing all of the tracking on your own. I know that some of you have never actually landed on a nutrition program. The reason that I'm doing this right now is because I've talked to a lot of you that have said, I'm disappointed with where I'm at. I thought I would be further along at this point. Now, that's because you are measuring things in the aesthetics column of your pyramid, and that's fine. But then you can't also be measuring right now in longevity and in performance. You can if you land in the middle, but then progress is going to be a lot slower. Okay, so the reason that I'm pulling us right now to aesthetics is because I feel like a lot of you are asking for that. So the reason that I'm doing this nutrition thing right now is because I want to lead by example for you. And it's a month. You guys, we can handle this for a month, right? So my goal is to stick in the aesthetics column for a month and give us a foundation. So that way you can see, oh, I can go back to this on my own anytime I need to. I can handle things here. And you can see what your body is capable of. You can also balance that out with how you're feeling. I know that some of us need to reset our guts right now. I've been talking to a couple of you that are like, oh my gosh, I just have to cut out gluten and dairy. My belly is bugging me so much. So let's do it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's do it. We've got this, right? So this month, that's going to be our focus. Yeah, let's just chat together about what that looks like, what would be helpful to see over these next couple of weeks, and if you're in or not, and what nutrition program you're going to land on. Are you going to do Portion Fix? Are you going to do 2B Mindset? Or do you really need to pull out a lot of things and do 4-Week Gut Protocol? If you've got any questions, let me know, but then let me know what you pick.